In the world of comic books, there are a lot of iconic cover images, ones that have stood the test of time and are ever present in pop culture and referenced to constantly. Some are the iconic first covers featuring a character, like Action Comics number 1, Amazing Fantasy number 15, or Detective Comics number 27. Others are eye-grabbing covers that have become iconic thumbnails of influential story. Crisis on Infinite Earths number 10, Uncanny X-Men number 141, and Amazing Spider-Man number 50. And the same is true for Archie Comics. While most Archie covers of the past were usually just meant to be 1 or 2 panel gags, and today are frequently just the characters on the cover doing something with no joke present, there is one Archie cover which is not only iconic, but it's the one image that is frequently used as a shorthand for what Archie is all about. That image has come to be known as 3 on a Soda. Originally drawn by Bob Montana, 3 on a Soda first appeared on the cover of Archie Annual number 4, published in 1952. It features Archie sharing an ice cream soda with both Betty and Veronica, each one of them with their own straw, while Jughead passes by in the background, offering the reader his usual acerbic commentary, implying that disaster is just around the corner for Archie. The image in question doesn't have anything to do with a specific story in the issue. In fact, the annuals were one of Archie Comics' earliest instances of their practice of constantly reprinting existing stories for additional revenue, a practice they still continue today. Archie Comics would use a different version of the image again on the cover of Life with Archie number 2, published in 1958, this time drawn by Harry Lucy. Both Jughead and Reggie offer commentary here, but it comes off as more envious than prophetic this time. Part of the reason 3 on a Soda has become so iconic has been Archie Comics' own constant reuse and remixing of the image. A new version seems to come out every few years, updating it for the current era. Almost any Archie-related project will eventually feature 3 on a Soda either in the project itself, but almost certainly in promotional materials. And it's not hard to see why. For decades, the triangle between Archie, Betty, and Veronica has been the defining feature of Archie Comics for most casual fans and non-comics readers. Everyone relates to the idea of being attracted to 2 people at the same time and being unable to choose between the 2. In fact, one could argue that this image, along with the triangle itself, has been responsible for establishing the trope in popular consciousness in the first place. Like a lot of iconic imagery, the basic idea is simple. We have Archie in the middle, as befits his usual position, with Veronica to the left and Betty on the right, all 3 sipping from the soda in front of them. But what makes the various versions of 3 on a Soda interesting is how the drawing is composed, because the various versions are also reflections of how the triangle has been portrayed over the years. The Archie, Betty, Veronica triangle at the time 3 on a Straw was originally created was not the triangle most people think of today, with Archie torn between the 2 girls. From the 40s through the 60s, it was less a triangle and more like a V. Archie was head over heels for Veronica, while Betty pined in the distance for Archie, dropping him hints of her attraction that Archie usually missed or outright ignored whenever Veronica came on the scene. Veronica herself rarely seemed to be interested in Archie at all unless she wanted something from him. Montana and Lucy's versions of 3 on a Straw reflect this dynamic. Archie is barely paying attention to Betty at all, his eyes focused solely on Veronica. Betty, by the same token, has her gaze firmly locked on Archie, while Veronica herself isn't looking at either of them, instead seeming to be focused on just enjoying the drink, which presumably she is expecting Archie to pay for. As time went on and the lopsided relationship morphed into the more familiar triangle we know today, so too did new versions of the image. In the 70s and 80s, the eye lines and expressions changed slightly. Archie still looks at Veronica, but Betty's eyeline is shifted slightly and her expression is more open, giving the impression she's enjoying herself with both her potential suitor and her best friend. While Veronica still has her eyes closed, her expression is far more friendlier, implying she too is enjoying the moment with Archie and Betty, rather than just the prospect of a free soda. Later versions continue to open up the eye lines, changing the focus of the characters. There are some where Archie is looking straight ahead at the reader, while Betty and Veronica's eye lines and expressions indicate both are focusing on Archie. More recent versions have all 3 looking at the reader, eliminating the idea that any sort of conflict exists in the dynamic at all. And like any iconic image, 3 on a Soda has gotten parodied and homaged plenty of times over the years, and none more often than by Archie Comics themselves. Whenever a cover needs to imply that something fishy is going on, usually we see some unusual variant on 3 on a Soda there, guaranteeing attention will be paid by a casual passerby. Even the Married Life series' final image was an homage, showing the now adult surviving members of the Riverdale gang that while Archie may be gone, some things last into the new generation. And as long as Archie Comics continues to exist, it's likely 3 on a Soda is going to be around for that new generation and beyond.
Archie's gonna be there, Jughead's gonna